My name is Karpel. I'm CEO and founder of both companies, and today we're going to have a live trading room open to trade stock and options using our technology. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is my brief bio. Disclosures are also very important. Please read them if you haven't read them. Let's jump into the market and see what has happened. We did have a great session on 0-day steel expiration options and options in general. So be sure to watch the recording. I'll post one on Yellow Tunnel, and then you will get one from Avant-Garde Trading. And again, this is my relationship with Avant-Garde. I'm a consultant at the Avant-Garde. So we do have a relationship, but content is not. But we're not affiliated companies, and content is not endorsed by each other. So we do have to disclose that. Very important. Okay. Let's get into it then. In terms of stock market, again, main news was, I think, the earnings from Bill, you learn it. I'm learning, coding with Claude, and it's great. So you can learn. It just takes a little patience. So earnings from CrowdStrike scratched out on gains on Broadcom. Nice. I'm actually down. Let's see. I'm down. Let me look. So main news was earnings from the Broadcom and reaction to the earnings news. Right? So let's see. So I did sell 440 call on Broad, 440 put, right? I mean, we need a strong rally tomorrow, for this trade to, recover from this trade. But for now, it's deep in the money. It expires tomorrow. So that's the biggest news. Broadcom hasn't moved more than, one standard deviation for quite some time, right? I think we were looking at it yesterday here on Broadcom. It's been moving less than 10% for the past 4 quarters. But again, very high valuations, and anything you say where the street doesn't, feel comfortable was the earnings. You can see, we're down 11%, 4%. We're down 14%. So that's originally, it's most of the stocks sold off as a result of that. But then you do have this strong intraday reversal. We hit 7,500. That's been a strong support, right? A lot of the positioning is at 7,500 now. If you look at the gamma. So that support held, right? People stepped in, and everybody's turning attention to inflation data and employment data tomorrow, right? Which, will probably determine the next move in the market, whether we're going to retest 7,500 again or potentially get above 7,600. Next level is 7,700. So you do have quite aggressive selling in 7,700 next level, and then 8,000. First thing first, 7,600 is your first support. Right. So this is your first support, and then 7,700 is your second, resistance. Support 7,500, we held it today, and then there's pretty large support at 7,400. So that's support and resistance level, gamma 7,500. So gamma flip. So as long as we're staying 7,500, 7,400, I would say then market is supportive, and buyers will step in like they did today. I mean, if we do drop below, then that would be an issue. So let's see. Question was Lalit on IGV. I'm still long IGV, right? The good news is that today I do see, even when the market was down, the Google of the world, I mean, it's not software, but you have a pretty sizable bounce in Google off of 50-day moving average, and Meta, not Meta, Meta had a 2 days up, and then Amazon, right? And Amazon is bouncing back from the 50-day moving average. IGV held the 100-day moving average. We know there is a lot of support at 100 strike. So as long as it's 100 strike is not breached, for a couple of days on above average volume, I'm holding the position. Obviously, these are option trades, so I have to be correct on timing, right? We know there is a huge support at 90, decent support at 100, especially with cold strike. So we'll see if the stock is, if the software names are pinned to that number, or are they able to escape that velocity. So for now, IGV trade that's going against me. I did close half of Halliburton trade yesterday, and IGV, same trade. I haven't changed anything. Let's see. It expires June 12th. So I do have good news that I did select next week. And then the other one was weekly expiration. So we'll see if oracles of the world can bounce. Right. Oracle has a nice bounce, so that's good. Microsoft, I wish would be better, but it did do better, but then kind of rolled over. How's IBM doing? IBM is doing great. Nice rebound in IBM. ServiceNow. A lot of it was Palo Alto, of the worlds, and Zscalers. They kind of pull back and pushing the stock, but it's a mixed bag. But it's been a strong kind of a move to the upside on above average volume. We're pulling back on below average volume. It's considered to be a good technical setup. Obviously, tomorrow, I assume if interest rates going to drop after the employment data, then it will rally. But if inflation or some issues with the equity market and rates go up, then that would be a headwind. For now, I'm holding the position. 10-year yield not going anywhere below 450. That's positive for several days. Junk bonds are stable, but did pull back. Spreads, I think, bond market is stable, ample of liquidity, no widening of the spread, so I think it's fine. Value stocks may continue going higher. So we still have rotation now out of the QQQ. People are trimming some of the QQQ position, and your XLFs of the world is way oversold, right? Your XLIs of the world is way oversold. Healthcare, everybody says way too low, start buying. So sorry. So give me 1 second. Sorry, I can't stop DJ a lot. Yeah, Slack. It's pretty interesting. So that's healthcare, and then value stocks in general. So in my 401k, I'm actually trimming some of my QQQ and position in emerging market like I did, and rotating slowly into VTV. Just I think these stocks have been oversold, and I think going into August, September makes sense to have more exposure to the value stocks. And you can see how's Citigroup. Citigroup actually now started breaking out up 4%. I closed that June option too soon. And then not Microsoft, but Morgan Stanley and Wealth Management are definitely catching a bid, and BlackRock Group, I think, is also bouncing back. So definitely value stocks are rebounding from oversold conditions. That makes sense. Small caps are also bouncing back, almost at new all-time high. And then what else? Google has a strong rebound after the steep sell-off. I mean, a lot of people mentioning Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been a good proxy for risk taking. It's kind of fallen off the cliff. I would say maybe either made a new marginal low or sitting at the important support level, right? So that's kind of, I still think you want to be careful and see if Bitcoin can actually pull the equity market down. Most people think not because of the divergence, but it's been a good indicator of, and usually kind of a leading indicator. So that would be a concern, right? If it doesn't hold these lows, next level is 50,000, right? It could be at 50,000, but in a very short period of time. So you have to be careful with the Bitcoin. Crude oil pullback, right? Escalation, de-escalation. No new signal from last week, kind of not going anywhere. Status quo, I would say. And then what else? Copper futures making new highs, so that's good. I think China rebounded at some point this month. It's off the highs, but that's about it. Any questions? All right, so let's review. In terms of signals for today, stock forecast toolbox predicted 754 support, 761. I would give model an A despite volatility due to Broadcom. 750 was oversold. We called 761, high 757. So model is doing good job telling you, okay, here's your support levels, here's your overhead resistance, right? So that's important. And then in terms of signals on yellow tunnel, let's see what's leading the market. I mean, you're familiar with KLIC. Is it up despite the market? Semiconductors down. Yeah, KLIC is actually up despite semiconductors down. So that's a good sign. So model doing good job finding KLIC yesterday. Nucor materials going higher. That's a good chart price pattern. So steel continues to grind higher, breaking out, and Schlumberger. Right, I have Halliburton, Transocean, and Schlumberger is doing well. So model gets an A today. 3 out of 3, not bad, not bad. And all, outperforming their respective sectors. I do have Halliburton. I trimmed it yesterday. That's doing well. Almost at multi-year high, trying to break out. Not sure why Transocean is not. I mean, it's up 1.5%. I mean, we need a move to the upside, right? That's an option position, so time is of the essence. What else is brewing? Amazon. So I trimmed Amazon. I'm inclined to buy it back. Right, it's not making new lows. It's up 1.5%. I've been trading around this position. So I sold it 273. I think it makes sense to buy it at 253. The shares that I sold. So let's do that. All right. So let's look. Trade, order status, Amazon. Okay. Okay. So I basically bought those shares back. And if it moves to 271, I'm going to close them. So sell shares that I just bought, and we'll do it at 271. Probably 269 would be better. Let's look at how much overhead resistance is there. Amazon. These are liquid names. Let's take a look. Wow, it's all over the place. Okay, so 260, 265, 270, 275, same thing. Okay, I'll put 269. 269. 268.5. That'll be a good move. If you can move 5% up, that'll be good. 15, yeah. 6-7% up. That'll be a good move. Okay. So that's Amazon. Adding to Amazon, Broadcom. I need, gods of stock market to start participating. We'll see. We'll see if buyers step in tomorrow. Emerging market. I trimmed emerging market. It pulled back because of the AI trade, right? There's a heavy concentration of few names and bounce off of 68 level. No change. I mean, maybe buy back the shares that I sold at 68. Maybe that makes sense. So we'll wait. Halliburton, I have an order to close the rest of it. No changes to the software name. Microsoft, I mean, I'm pretty heavily exposed to software between Microsoft stock and IGV, so I don't want to add. But, if you're not heavily exposed, I think, on a less, breakout above average volume, that's a pretty significant momentum and thrust. Haven't had volume like this since February of 26 during earnings. So it makes sense to, take a well-defined risk on Microsoft or software names. QQQ I trimmed and transaction, well, clock is ticking. This expires June 18. So in the next 2 weeks, we need another escalation in Middle East for this hedge to work. Any questions? All right, so what did it have today? Amazon. And I'll put an order to close Broadcom, $1.50. If tomorrow we have a sharp rally, so it'd be good to close at $1.50. $4.20, 25%. I mean, it could move. I mean, let's put it for 30 cents and see if we can actually break even. Okay. Any questions? Earnings. Oh, Sienna. How did Sienna do? So Cisco was a signal that's doing well, right? Continues to grind higher. Even Arista, after not such a great earnings, is again almost at all-time high. Sienna is in that category and not good earnings. Not a good earnings. So it looks like some of the software, switching network infrastructure, telecommunication equipment are, hit or miss. And then was able to leg out of the long. Fred, that's good. Yeah, legging out of Broadcom. Yeah, if you did this in the morning with the idea that it's going to be bouncing back, that's a good trade. Right, close the short. Oh, close the short put. Close the short first, and then log out. That means it needs to pull back. Okay, I mean, as long as it worked. Yeah, if you close the short and then it pulls back, you close the long, then it's great. If you let it wait, then that's a problem. But yeah, nice trade. Earnings after the close, Rubrik, Lululemon, DocuSign, Titan, Wealthfront, Nothing interesting. Friday morning, ABMG, nothing tomorrow. I mean, DocuSign, I think, was, I guess, manageable. Again, it's another software name. They've been extremely volatile. It's either gonna go, 20% up, 20% down. Not sure if I want to take that volatility play on DocuSign. Earnings they've been stable, or have they been all over the place? It's stable, but then you have this 20% down last June, so it could be 20% down this June. So yeah, I don't know. Probably gonna skip that unless see anything worth trading there. I mean, Marvel. This is more of a headline news, right? Earnings did not move the stock. It actually kind of didn't go anywhere. And then you have this, tweet from CEO of Juan, CEO of NVIDIA. You do have a strong position at what is it trading? Marvel 320. So I do like 300 strike. So you can trade anything, right? You have overhead resistance 320. It needs to escape 320, but it has support at 300, right? So you can, you like to do put spreads. Maybe it makes sense to sell 300 280 put spread or 280 260 put spread, right? Just depends on how aggressive you are. It's all over the place, driven by the news, right? A lot of it will be dependent tomorrow on the unemployment data. Right, market probably, we're in summer, volumes start drying up, so you're gonna have these moves up, moves down based on the data. So, I don't expect a negative surprise tomorrow, so we could have a rally. So, I actually added in my personal account, I added to Google. Let me look at my personal account. I have a position in Google which I like. Right, I bought some call spreads. I think that looks actually healthy, where I think most of the selling probably done, right? 360, okay, maybe 340. So you might have 30 points to the downside, but I think in July it'll probably break out above 400, right? So I think it makes sense to take that risk. I had a great trade with LA Lilly. That was a signal. So I bought some calls, but that's kind of late already. So I'm actually out of LA Lilly. That was a good trade. I do like Apple. That was a signal, kind of trading sideways. I would sell a put spread on Apple. I like AMD. I still hold AMD. Same idea. This 480 held. So you have a clearly defined stop level, right? Maybe selling 480, 460 put spread. That makes sense. Yeah, you wait. Yeah, you wait till employment data, right? Fred, no, I agree. What else do I have? Amazon, Apple, AMD, I closed. CSX was a decent trade. I actually closed CSX. That was, it almost, it reversed down, but it hit the highs again. So that's good. Actually, I exited out just on time. And then what else? The new cores. I like that signal, right? If you want to get diversified and move out from the AI trade, this is a healthy chart, right? So breakout, confirm, you sell put spread. That looks like a good chart. A little bit overextended, but that makes sense. All right. Any other questions? All right. Any questions so far? All right. What else? Martin, question number one, Coinbase. And Coinbase is highly correlated to, Bitcoin. Martin has been writing this since 220. Very nice job. I mean, it's on support, right? I mean, I think I briefly went over Bitcoin. I would trade it only to the downside like you do, but you do have to realize that we're sitting at an important support. Usually when I see these setups, I assume, right, the proof is on the bears to be able to break this how long this been? I mean, we're at 60,000, right? We're 64, 60,000, right? We haven't been at these levels since February 24. I mean, at this point, I think you're going to get a pause at 50,000. So you have 14,000 to the downside, probably 20,000 to the upside. So air is getting thin. I would wait for a breakout. If we can get below 60,000 and stay there at least for a couple of days or a couple hours. I mean, a couple of days we might be at 50,000, but wait a couple hours. If we stay below 60,000, I would short Coinbase again, right? But until that breakout, I tend to, I would not go long on Bitcoin, but I would close my short. I would close my short. That's my logic, how I would trade this. Found its support. I mean, this is a strong support, right? This area between 60,000 and 50,000 on Bitcoin, this is a multi-year support. So to break below that, you need some kind of a catalyst. And I don't know what that catalyst is going to be, but usually, 70% of the time, these long-term supports hold. 30% of the time, they don't. And you need some kind of a catalyst. I mean, there is some instability in Bitcoin, right? That strategy guy, I forgot his names, sold, small position, right? He didn't sell a lot, right? But you can see, we went from 200 to 130 in a matter of a couple of days. And he's kind of been the face of the Bitcoin that, I'm never going to sell it. I'm just going to keep buying, and he sold small. I mean, granted, it's a small position. But I would look at MicroStrategy. If it takes out 122, you probably want to short it, right? This is kind of the same setup, right? Because if it doesn't hold 120, 100, well, next level is 40, right, or 50. So that would be my thought process. Crude oil pullback 245 SPX. SPX 7600. So nice rebound from 7500 all the way to 7600. That 0 days till expiration, if you bought this morning, you would have a nice rebound and could make nice trade on that. All right, DJ Vlad, I think is done for today. I will be back tomorrow morning. Keep in mind, we same schedule, closing bell tomorrow, but next week I'm traveling, so there will not be closing bell next week. I'm on vacation and Keith also on vacation, so both of us on vacation. So no closing bell next week. Opening bell, I will try to at least be there for 15 to 20 minutes every day just to say hi, and if anything major changes in my positions, I want to make sure we have some coverage. But other than that, business as usual. All right, Fred, Lalit, Martin, Ted, Bill, Bob, Nick, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for participating, and I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. You will see keep DJing. Yes, I'm going to keep DJing, and uh, by end of today or tomorrow, under trading discipline, well, not trading discipline, I'll do it under trading market plan. I will put up a recording for the 0 day still expiration options. So Fred was there. I appreciate it. A lot of people were there, but if you guys can join, that would be great. Ted, I was about to leave actually. Uh, do you have any questions, Ted, before we say? I'll do a quick recap. Broadcom trade not doing great, right? We need a strong recovery in Broadcom, but it's off the lows. We'll see if it can close some of this gap tomorrow. But that's the main driver for the market, right? It moved more than one standard deviation. We haven't had a drop. I mean, it was as much as another 20 points down, right? 15, 16% down. So we haven't had that kind of reaction. That could be a warning sign that maybe this trade is a little overdone. We need some kind of a period of digestion. We'll see. Or maybe this is just a start of multi-month digestion period, and like we had with silver, right? I think silver was something similar actually. We had that sharp down week, I think somewhere in here, right? We went from 70 back to 60, but then we still had 3 more weeks of higher, and then we have a sharp pullback. So it could be something like where some of these AI stocks might start, like Broadcom. People are going to question, well, is this really a $2.5 trillion company, right? Or maybe it's not. So that's the main price action. Interest rates are stable. Keep an eye on unemployment data tomorrow, inflation data, wages data tomorrow. People will react. For now, interest rates are stable. Bitcoin has been under pressure. So I'm watching Bitcoin as a proxy that there may be some instability in the market. Right? Bitcoin is retesting basically multi-year low. Right? You have to go back to September of 24 to see Bitcoin at these levels. So it basically gave up all of the gains since basically end of 23, right? Beginning of, so 24, 25, 26 is, well, that's too harsh. Okay, February of 24, since February of 24. And then what else? Crude oil is stable, no new signal, still same news. Nothing is changing on the Middle East part. In terms of trade, I did add to Amazon. So I bought Amazon. I sold my shares at 273. I bought them back at 253. And then in terms of the rest of the positions, talked about Amazon, Broadcom, emerging market. I'm holding. It did pull back today, but if it pulls back more, I maybe buy back EEM, buy back QQQ that I sold. Halliburton closed half this in the past week. Software names continue to hold software names. The clock is ticking, right? I have next Friday or Friday after, but the 100 level does hold. It has been, and there's a lot of position in IGV at 100. So for now, it's holding at 100. It's flat today, so we'll see if we can rebound back. And that's about it, right? Microsoft, same as software, and Transocean, I'm still waiting on the option. All right. Ted, Thomas, any questions? I know you guys joined a little bit late. A few announcements. Next week I'm traveling and Keith is traveling, so there will not be closing bell. You guys attend almost on daily basis. So next week, no closing bell. We'll send an email. Morning bell will be abbreviated, but I'll try to be there every time. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you very much and have a great day.